Ladies and gentlemen, this right here is truly the Kyrie Irving experience.
The trifecta. Kyrie Irving taking over the game.
Now when I say experience, I'm talking about witnessing pure art when he steps on the floor. When you watch Kyrie, you get this euphoric feeling of what it feels like when you first see someone do a crafty thing with the basketball. And it may sound crazy, but it truly never gets old and it feels like a new excitement every time. From the stunning drives to the mesmerizing handle, all the way to the difficult shots, Kyrie has everything in his bag, and at any given moment, he can pull something out that the defense has no way of guarding. I know everyone is stuck on this Luka Doncic trade and how terrible that was for the Mavs fan base, but when you pull away from that and look at things in a more positive light, you still have an electrifying player in Kyrie who looks to put this team on his back. Since the big trade happened, Kyrie has averaged 28 points, 5 rebounds and 4 assists, while shooting 46% from the field, 39% from deep, and 93% from the free throw line. This shows you just how well he's putting the ball in the basket and affecting the game, and if we blow it up a little larger, on the season, Kyrie is averaging 25 points and 4 assists, with a 59% true shooting percentage. Now these aren't groundbreaking numbers like we've seen from Kyrie in the past, but you have to take into account the injuries on this team, playing with new teammates, and how this can affect his flow on the floor. Nonetheless, Kyrie has still managed to light up defenses with his superb scoring, but how exactly does he do it? For most of us, we understand that Irving is a wizard when it comes to his finishes at the basket, but to even finish as good as he does, he must break past his defender to do so. Understanding how to use pace is one of the most important skill sets, as here on this play you're going to see the defense shade a double team at him, so Kyrie uses a slight hezzy to allow time for Dejounte to release, and now with a burst to the rim, he can extend out with the left to finish this off the glass. When you're dealing with elite players, they understand how to switch gears to throw you off, as instead of gunning to the rim off this screen, Kyrie decides to slow it down to allow Grant to recover, and unlike some people think, Kyrie is one of the most physical guards in the NBA, so he's going to initiate the contact by bumping right into Grant before going up to complete the bucket. This change of pace allows Kyrie to think about his next move briefly before committing fully, so when pushing towards the basket versus Utah, Irving knows Collins is waiting on that backside to help out, so he stops on a dime while feeding an up fake and then uses the pass fake to make Collins back up even more, and that makes this kiss off the glass just too easy. It's one thing to use that change of pace to subtly plan out your next action, but trust me, when the defender is least expecting it, Kyrie will fly right past him to the basket in a blur. I mean, hey, ask Luka Doncic how it felt when Kyrie went from 0 to 100 in a blink of an eye. Using the speed alone is dangerous, as it grants Kyrie easier and better looks at the rim when arriving, but when he throws in a Euro step to get to a spot to go finish, it shows you a sneak peek into his creativeness. With many ways to break his defender down, you'll see times where Kyrie uses a combo handle cross into a low carry to score inside, and even if a defender recovers back to him on his attack, Irving will stay patient by working off that pivot, and right when you get over too far, here's where he uses that step through to go right past you. For a lot of players in the league, they tend to need a lot of space to feel comfortable, or else they wouldn't even attempt to try and go score. But unlike all of them, Kyrie isn't focused on creating a lot of space, as he instead is just trying to get right to his spots. Many people will say things like he uses a lot of dribbles and sometimes he barely even creates separation, but after showing you some of these plays here, I hope you'll understand his game even more. When attacking Julius Randle here, you're going to see Kyrie get to the rim with Randle right on his hip. And if he wanted to, he could bounce off his defender to then complete the bucket like we see here. But that's not the way he wants to attack. Instead, Kyrie wants to get into Randle's space to stop him from getting a good contest, and here comes another 2 points.
Randle works his way in for 2. He is a magician.
Sometimes it may be hard to notice, but that's why we have the film to slow it down. So on this attack versus the Warriors, Irving is going to squeeze in between 2 defenders, and at this moment, he could lean back to use a floater, but like I said, Kyrie goes to the exact shot he wants, not the one that may seem easier to everyone else. So that's why he leans into Moody while absorbing all that contact, and boy, this could have been an and one. Sorta like earlier when I touched on Kyrie being one of the most physical guards in the league, if he wants to, he can muscle guys off like Jimmy Butler if they stand in his way to get an and one. If an elite defender like Drew Holiday is smothering him, Irving can get into his chest with a high gather to shield him off to go score. And when a big is sitting in the paint waiting for him, Kyrie doesn't shy away whatsoever, as he'll take the contact, hang in the air, and this one is just butter. Now Kyrie is a smaller guy standing around 6'2", so sometimes instead of crashing into the trees, he'll pull out that floater that skies over defenders so they can't get to it, and it truly doesn't matter if he's going left or right, he can finish these with either hand. When you time that physical bump we talked about, that's where the space is initially created on the attack, and right here you can see Sabonis is in position to contest, but Kyrie has something for him. Another time versus Suns, Kyrie will use that change of pace this time to make his way to the paint, and with the help defender staying with him but slightly backing up, Irving decides to use that left hand floater while drifting away from the basket, and this is just beautiful. This ability to operate a little further from the basket pours into his mid-range game where defenses have a tough time containing him. If you chase over the top due to his three-point shooting and your big isn't ready for that abrupt stop on a dime, the jumper becomes easy money. If multiple defenders close in on him when he's attacking, then here's where he can pull out that fadeaway to defeat him. And with Kyrie playing at his own speed, he doesn't get rushed when navigating to his spot, as here he keeps Conley on his back while pushing towards the lane, so once he's ready to pull up, there's practically nothing Conley can do without risking a foul. Having this many tools at your disposal makes you one of the toughest covers for anyone on any given night, as when it seems like there's nowhere for him to go, he shows you the joke's on you. I understand that people love to see all the flashy moves such as step backs, snatch backs, and killer handles, but first I want to show you what makes him stand out even more for most guys, and it might be something you haven't even thought of. In basketball, of course we love the highlight plays, but if you want to be efficient all around, finding the simplest way to still get your shot off is always ideal. When scouting Irving's game, you'll see that he can make his defender back up, giving him just the space needed simply off a jab step, and this bank off the glass is clean. Not every time down the floor does it take using a specialty move to get open, as you can use that footwork to keep the defender guessing while also throwing in an up fake, and shots like this where you pull up in the defender's grill is just tough. Now is this me saying that Kyrie isn't effective when he starts pulling out those moves? Nah, not at all whatsoever. Because when Irving starts getting deep in his bag like the fries at Five Guys, this is when we all start to sit up in our seat.
On the step back, hits another one.
Whether it's from deep or in the mid-range, Irving has a bag of tricks with him like he's at a magic show. Say he wants to start off using that footwork to get space to go to work, he'll first do so. But then to add a little razzle dazzle, he'll use a rip through cross to shift Murray completely, and this one right here is straight cash. This herky-jerky yet smooth handle of his makes defenders bite hard on all of his moves, which leads to open shots from practically everywhere on the floor. And I'm not sure if anybody here has seen those And1 mixtapes, but Kyrie definitely looked like he was on tour on this bucket versus the Pelicans. This creativeness is truly one of a kind, as you don't see many players around the league have many moves to go to at any given moment, but like I've always said, Kyrie is a guy who has a counter for every counter, and if you counter that, he has something else for you. This level of scoring makes him unguardable when he's on the floor, since he can score at all three levels with no fear, and that right there is something that every defense should keep in mind. Most of the time when you're a smaller guy, you don't want to go all the way to the basket due to your shot being blocked, but that's not even a thought of Kyrie's. While most people say the mid-range is a bad shot, Irving will block out all the noise to then go operate in this area and make it look easy, and when he decides to get active from deep range and pull out that sniper, all he needs is one shot as he has pure accuracy. I know losing Luka Doncic for this Mavs team was huge, and there's truly no replacing what he does for this team on a nightly basis. But it's time we let go of what was and embrace what is, and that is that Kyrie Irving is still one of the most skilled creators in the league that every defender fears when they know they have to guard him. As the back half of the season is underway, what better way to stay up to date with breakdowns and analysis than to subscribe to Hoop Mastery while turning on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.